Hello there, Space Wizards, Plastic Spacemen, and Rebel Princesses. This is Big T and Little T, a Star Wars podcast. Welcome to episode 74. Today we're going to be talking about the Star Wars Resistance Season 2, Episode 8, Rendezvous Point. And so we are going to be diving into that in just a little bit. But yeah, unfortunately, Lil T couldn't be with me. He is busy with football. He's enjoying football so much. We're doing a little flag football through our local church, and he's doing really well. I had a great practice. He was throwing. He threw the longest ball for his team, which was cool. But yeah, we're super proud of him. So we're hoping to have Little T back very soon. He's we're trying to get all the schedules worked out, but yeah, the show must go on, and so we are going to be talking about Rendezvous in just a minute. Uh, Big week for us. Jen and I celebrated 20 years of marriage. Craziness. We were reflecting on that. We were able to go out to dinner on Wednesday, and just like, where did that go? So yeah, it's kind of crazy, but it's super cool where everything's at and where God kind of put us at right now, and it's just a pretty cool spot, and we're super happy with where everything's going, but we still can't believe it's been 20 years. Craziness. Okay, so finally saw Star Wars Visions. Trent and I watched that Saturday and Sunday, and oh my gosh, so good. We're probably going to take next episode or something to talk through those episodes, but man, loving me some Star Wars Visions. Very cool. Uh, there's a couple favorites. I like Tatooine Rhapsody, The Duel, T, Obi-Wan, and yeah, the Village Bride. There's a lot that I like there. There was a lot of cool ones there. And then we also watched Lego Terrifying Tales on Friday, and that was super fun, super Lego. Three short stories, and yeah, I mean the premise is basically they took Darth Vader's castle and trying to make it into like a haunted mansion kind of like a Hotel Transylvania, but like for Star Wars. And yeah, it's really cool. And we get a little what if thing with if Luke was yeah. I won't get too much into it because I think Trent would like to talk about it. But yeah, it was really cool. We really enjoyed that. And so that was a pretty busy week of that kind of stuff. But yeah, Bears won. So that's exciting because when we went to Cleveland, that was not fun. But the Bears won, so that's good. But Montgomery's out. Not cool. I have him on my fantasy as well as he's a really good running back for the Bears. So, yeah, it's crazy. So I'm trying to rearrange my fantasy football team. Might have to do a trade here. These are things, man. But yeah, so looking forward to a lot. Oh, we do have a date. Boba Fett, man. Book of Boba is coming December 29th, the very last week of the year. But it's happening, and super cool about that. Honestly, I wish it was November or October. If I remember correctly, season one was October, and then season two was November. I'm, I said this before. I kind of like the Friday release, but this Wednesday release, like I'm so far behind on like What If, because it happens on Wednesdays, and I'm like, ugh, I just can't get to it. Like Fridays is like, okay, here's the weekend, and yeah. So, but it's Wednesdays. They haven't given an episode count. Hoping we get at least 12, maybe 16. 16 is like, I know I'm asking too much, but 12 would be really nice. But yeah, super excited for that. Hopefully, the other date we got is the Disney Plus thing. So that is happening, I think November 12th or something. I'm sure we're going to get a trailer. All right, you know what? I complained about last week with the Relic Raiders, and I just like it was just too light for me. Like you're going to Sith Temple, we should get a little bit more lore, and it was just a little too light for me. I just was kind of disappointed on they didn't go too much in depth. But Rendezvous Point is pretty awesome episode. I really dig this episode a lot. And so we have opening scene. The Aces are in a dogfight with the First Order. They're close on the Colossus, and everyone is fighting for their lives because the First Order is just all over them. The Aces are having problems. They need to jump to hyperspace, but Doza is like, yo, I gotta stick around, and they waited to essentially their shields were down to 5%, and yeah, it was not good. They said finally, Tora said, Dad, we gotta call it. Jumped to hyperspace, got the Aces in hot, and there was a thing with Kaz, and Kaz is like, well, maybe something else is going on, and that they're trying to outreach to someone. And so he kind of puts together like, oh, they might be trying to outreach the Resistance. I'm the Resistance. You're the Resistance, or you're trying to look for Resistance. And then the big bomb drop was, well, we're not looking for just the Resistance. We're looking for my mother. Bum, bum, bum. Big drop there. In the meantime, we get to see she, as the Colossus goes into hyperspace, Doza's wife shows up, and she is right in the middle of all the First Order that just left the Aces, and gets stuck in a tractor beam relatively quickly. And you realize, too, she's a pretty good pilot. And so they get captured. And so she has a... what is her droid's name? I don't know what her droid's name is. I'm trying to look at my notes here. But uh, she has a really interesting droid, like his iris, or his like his view thing is like almost like a photography lens, and it's like open, which is a lot different than like R2 thing. And yeah, he's just got a kind of a cool look. Uh, and so they get captured. She gets captured. And as she's going by, um, that's when Tam sees her, and she's like, okay, this girl looks like somebody I know. And so Tam gets suited up in her TIE fighter, or she is suited up, and she walks, and she's got to know what Vanessa's like. Who is she? Like, she knows this face. She kind of feels it, she's like, I kind of know what's going on here. Um, and yeah. So while she's trying to kind of have this discussion at the cell, Tam's droid is they can't really activate it. She's playing dead. In fact, when they capture the ship, one of the things that the stormtrooper notices is that the flight log has been wiped, as well as the droid. So the droid is playing dead. We kind of know, the audience kind of knows, well, that really can't be the case because she just talked to this droid. So meanwhile, the stormtroopers kind of check out the droid, not really do anything, kind of sparks a little bit, and they're just like, let's just dump them. So that was the whole coop there. Not coop. Yeah. Anyways, he he reactivates himself, and is on the hunt for Vanessa. Tam, meanwhile, is like, I need to know who you are. You gotta tell me the truth. And so they have this kind of cat and mouse game. And then Vanessa's droid shocks Tam, and Tam's out. Um, but before that happens is that she drops last name Doza. Tam realizes it. So now we go back. We flip back to the Colossus. Kaz understands that there's a family connection there, and this day in particular is it's one of those things that it's Tor's birthday. So there's another little connection there of why they essentially, I think that's part of the rendezvous point, is that they try to get in contact with her mom because she's deep in resistance on Tor's birthday. So this is where it gets really cool. Uh, Vanessa is totally capable of handling herself. She uses Tam as bait. Um, Rucklin, that other guy that we know from the Colossus that was like a punk to Kaz, is also in the First Order now and has uh, Tam and Rucklin together. They're trying to hold each other hostage. She's like, I'm not dropping, my weapon, blah, blah, blah. Um, we get, instead of Rebel Scum, we get Resistance Scum, a little throwback to our good Return of the Jedi. Um, uh, and so really it's kind of a ruse as far as just like, you're going to shoot or I'm going to shoot. I, so I'm trying to think what happens here. Well, he doesn't. Well, I know Rucklin does not want to kill Tam. Uh, okay, so the R2 unit gets connected to the terminal and starts causing a ruckus. And this is where the bedlam kind of goes full. It just chaos all over the place. And so what happens is that Tam and the R2 unit, I believe it's Torch. Maybe it's Torch. I don't know. I can't remember. But they have they set everything up, booby trap everything, and then this is cool. The R2 unit pilots a First Order TIE fighter. They focus power on that. What is the what is the First Order name? The girl's name? Oh, tyranny. I don't know. Man, I am so bad with names. Why? I don't know, but I am. So she's on it. She's like, yo, this is not, this is a distraction. But then there's other explosions that happen that kind of divert their attention. But the TIE fighter gets out of the bay. It is almost smoking. And then Torch, R2 unit, ejects and kind of floats in space. Meanwhile, Doza grabs her X-wing and flies off. Bada bing, bada boom. They connect and they're out of there. I thought this was really cool. This was super awesome. A really cool kind of sequence of just how they work together and sabotaging the deck. You get the little Force Awakens vibes with when Poe and Finn kind of leave the hangar as well. Same thing here. Lots of explosions happening in the bay. I thought it was really well done. And you could, like I said earlier, you can really tell Doza knows her stuff. Tyranny kind of summons Tam because she got stunned before Doza left. And she said, did she reveal anything? And this is where I don't understand why Tam is covering up for her, because if she doesn't want to go, but also doesn't really, there's still conflict there. And so Tyranny said like, hey, well, we'll hopefully just comply with the investigation, do your thing. We have eyes everywhere. Yeah. So there's that. And so she might get caught because she knew a little bit more than she was letting on. I don't know why. That's gonna put herself in the proverbial pickle. We find out that Kaz is again a softie and prepares a kind of a Jello mold Gorg cake type thing. There's a Gorg in the middle of the cake of the Jello mold. Looks great. They kind of have a happy birthday thing for Tora. I like that they have birthdays in Star Wars. I think this is our first official birthday party in Star Wars, if I'm not mistaken. But that was really cool. And so the Gorg obviously gets out, and the aces have to help out with that. But then we have a cool kind of moment. Captain Doza is back in his cabin. He originally checks on Tora, but then kind of backs away and doesn't engage with the aces. Tora eyes that, and she kind of slips out a little bit. And there's Doza watching a holo recording of him and his wife, and it's very touching as far as just like, hey, I'm the resistance, you're doing this thing, we're still a family. Our love, even though we don't see each other as much, our love is still there, and we have to raise Tora to be strong and be resistance and all that kind of fun stuff. And Tora comes in and is like, hey, you're watching that vid, and he's like, it just makes me feel better. Super cool moment. I think that's, maybe I'm just getting sappy because of the anniversary or something, but I just enjoyed it. I thought that was really cool. This one, we got a little bit more history. We got to see Doza's wife, and she got to hold her own. She's got a really cool droid. And yeah, this one felt a little bit more meaty than last week's, which was, again, I just felt really light from a substance, just like a plot substance kind of perspective. So there you have it. This is probably one of my favorites out of this season so far. I just really enjoyed it. So there you go. Thanks again for listening to another episode of Big T and Little T, a Star Wars podcast. You can find us on the socials. Big T, Little T podcast, Instagram, BLILT podcast on Twitter, twitch.tv/Big T, Little T. We try to get on there. We need to do a little bit more streaming, so please check that out as well. Hey, Big T, Little T podcast at gmail.com. If you have a question, drop us a question. We'd love to send you out some swag. Give us your predictions or your favorites of Star Wars Visions. What are you excited about Boba Fett? If you're, kind of doing this replay watch with us, what do you like about Resistance? Anything. Throw us something there. We'll play it on an upcoming episode. We'll throw you some swag because we got some stickers to give away. Hey, you could also comment, rate us, tweet us your Apple Podcast review. If you give us a 5-star review, man, we will also do that as well. So just do a 5-star review, do a little screenshot, retweet that, or, email us or DM us or whatever. That would be fantastic. Next week, episode 75. I'm going to try to see if I get Little T on here. We might be talking some Star Wars Visions, hopefully, and talk through that a little bit. But yeah, it's been, it's good to be a Star Wars fan, man. There's like so much going on. It's great. Oh yeah, I still dabble a little bit on the collecting side. So got me a Black Series George Lucas Stormtrooper. I had to. I mean, it's like the maker right there. I had to. It's funny. I don't think I have the original 3 3/4. I think that was when I was getting out of collecting, and the way that one worked is like you actually had to use the UPCs and like send something in, and you would have got a George Stormtrooper. So I might have to get that because I definitely don't have that. But I do have the George Sackle from Celebration 2, one of the first exclusives they had there. And it's really just George in a X-Wing suit with a little mini X-Wing. That was a Celebration exclusive way back when. And yeah, I was already deep in the madness of collecting. And so that's super cool. And now I feel like I have to have George and a Stormtrooper. I don't know. It's just like a thing that I have to have or something. I don't know. I love Empire and it's George Lucas. So there you go. But anyways, yeah, it's a super exciting time to be a Star Wars fan. There's so much going on. Next week, I think it is Ronin. So Ronin is the character in the duel. He's getting his own book. So I'm not sure if this is canonical with Star Wars, but it's taking the Visions thing and running with it, which I'm so happy that they're doing that. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So that's coming out next week. I cannot wait to read that. Well, really listen to it because you gotta get it on the Audible or whatever. But yeah, audibletrial.com/WSTR on the old sister podcast there. You can get a free trial right there. Always be closing. Anyways, that's it. That's a wrap for episode 74. Well, no, truly wonderful the mind of the child is. And may the force be with you always. Bye. See you later. Bye, 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 bye.